of Praise +447930232324. TKM 074731000610. MC Shola Akande Baba Ibadan. Oluwabumi Adeboye Johnson Ebony. Noble People Recognition Award 2017. Don't miss it.
Àtúntìdé bí àṣẹ̀ndé Noble People lọ́dọọdún Noble Recognition Award àmì ẹ̀yẹ fúnṣẹ́ takuntakun kárí ayé ni wọ́n ti gbọ́ 26 of December ló ń mí àgbìnàyà.
Wow! Noble People is here again with another fantastic memorable event. Noble People International Magazine presents Noble Recognition Award Celebration of Stars. It's gonna be great. Coming up on 26 December 2017
at Empire Lounge,
777 Old Kent Road, opposite Toys and Roy's, London South East, 151NZ by 2 p.m. to 8 p.m. Dress code, all white outfits, red carpet paparazzi, which comes up between 2 p.m. and 3 p.m. RSVP, Kike Diamond, Noble Police, 0796170284. Ayaba Esther, Queen of Praise, +447930232324. TKM 074731000610. MC Shola Akande Baba Ibadan. Oluwabumi Adeboye Johnson Ebony. Noble People Recognition Award 2017. Don't miss it.
Àtúntìdé bí àṣẹ̀ndé Noble People lọ́dọọdún Noble Recognition Award àmì ẹ̀yẹ fúnṣẹ́ takuntakun kárí ayé ni wọ́n ti gbọ́ 26 of December ló ń mí àgbìnàyà.
Wow! Noble People is here again with another fantastic memorable event. Noble People International Magazine presents Noble Recognition Award Celebration of Stars. It's gonna be great. Coming up on 26 December 2017
at Empire Lounge,
777 Old Kent Road, opposite Toys and Roy's, London South East, 151NZ by 2 p.m. to 8 p.m. Dress code, all white outfits, red carpet paparazzi, which comes up between 2 p.m. and 3 p.m. RSVP, Kike Diamond, Noble Police, 0796170284. Ayaba Esther, Queen of Praise, +447930232324. TKM 074731000610. MC Shola Akande Baba Ibadan. Oluwabumi Adeboye Johnson Ebony. Noble People Recognition Award 2017. Don't miss it.
Àtúntìdé bí àṣẹ̀ndé Noble People lọ́dọọdún Noble Recognition Award àmì ẹ̀yẹ fúnṣẹ́ takuntakun kárí ayé ni wọ́n ti gbọ́ 26 of December ló ń mí àgbìnàyà.
Wow! Noble People is here again with another fantastic memorable event. Noble People International Magazine presents Noble Recognition Award Celebration of Stars. It's gonna be great. Coming up on 26 December 2017
at Empire Lounge,
777 Old Kent Road, opposite Toys and Roy's, London South East, 151NZ by 2 p.m. to 8 p.m. Dress code, all white outfits, red carpet paparazzi, which comes up between 2 p.m. and 3 p.m. RSVP, Kike Diamond, Noble Police, 0796170284. Ayaba Esther, Queen of Praise, +44477930232324. TKM 074731000610. MC Shola Akande Baba Ibadan. Oluwabumi Adeboye Johnson Ebony. Noble People Recognition Award 2017. Don't miss it.
Àtúntìdé bí àṣẹ̀ndé Noble People lọ́dọọdún Noble Recognition Award àmì ẹ̀yẹ fúnṣẹ́ takuntakun kárí ayé ni wọ́n ti gbọ́ 26 of December ló ń mí àgbìnàyà.
Wow! Noble People is here again with another fantastic memorable event. Noble People International Magazine presents Noble Recognition Award Celebration of Stars. It's gonna be great. Coming up on 26 December 2017
at Empire Lounge,
777 Old Kent Road, opposite Toys and Roy's, London South East, 151NZ by 2 p.m. to 8 p.m. Dress code, all white outfits, red carpet paparazzi, which comes up between 2 p.m. and 3 3 p.m. RSVP Kike Diamond, Noble Police 0796170284. Ayaba Esther, Queen of Praise +447930232324. TKM 074731000610. MC Shola Akode, Baba Ibadan, Oluwabumi Adeboye Johnson, Ebony, Noble People Recognition Award 2017. Don't miss it.
Today is about adverse weather, how it impacts business, or the impact of adverse weather on business. Let's talk about snow at the moment. Basically, when you talk about snow and business, it had negative impact. It doesn't have positive impact, even though you say it depends on the business. No matter what kind of business you've got, even if you're a taxi company, which taxi tends to get more customer, but the rate at which they do in business is actually slow. So you have to actually want it. It will not be able to reach the position where you want it. So when you talk about adverse weather, how serious it is, how it can affect the economy. In 2010, research showed that in 2010, the economy shrunk by 0.5%, basically. So it's very serious. Something with 0.5%, then it's really, really something that is actually serious. So when you talk about adverse weather or snowy weather, it basically can be something which will be detrimental to any business. It doesn't matter which industry you are, unless if you're selling coffee, even if you're Costa Coffee, because basically they're partly a winner, but they've got other things that will be affected. Sales will increase a little bit, but then they'll get it. It will be slow for them to get their resources. Things will not come on time. A lot of other things will happen when it comes to adverse weather. When it comes to adverse weather, a lot of other things will happen. It's really, really serious and it's negative. And basically, it costs more than 6 billion a week in the whole UK economy. So it's something you need to plan, and especially if you're actually doing small business, if you're a small business owner, if you're an entrepreneur, it will actually affect you seriously, because this is not something you've actually, people say, oh, you have to plan for it. Yes, you have to plan for it, but there are some things that you will not be able to put in place, because even when it comes to things like insurance, sometimes some of it is classed as natural disaster. In as much as you can insure your business, which that's one of the main things you need when it comes to adverse weather or snow, but some of it, if there's accidents, sometimes it can be classed as natural problem, because when it comes to that, you look at it, the insurance company will say it's a natural disaster, and the insurance company might not be able to pay everyone, but still, one of the most important things you need is insurance. There are a lot of people actually who are doing business who doesn't have insurance. And if you don't have insurance, things like this, if something happened to your business, then it's going to affect you. If you close down for the day, let's say you roads are short, you cannot open your shop or your office, and who is going to pay you? Who is going to pay your staff? Who is going to pay your supplier? That's why you need insurance. Insurance is something, this is the time when you really need insurance. Business insurance is not something that is expensive. Don't look at it because it's called insurance, that means it's expensive. It will safeguard your business. It's something that you need. It's not something that you want. It's not a want. It's a necessity when it comes to business. Because anything can happen. Fire can happen. You might think it's cold. There's not going to be fire. Fire can take place. A tree can just break and fall on top of your, the roof. Things happen when it comes to it. Maybe there will be a power cut, and if it's a power cut and you're not actually operating, let's say if you've got a retail or a restaurant, food will get spoiled. Other things will go bad. So when it comes to things like that, you really, really need insurance. Insurance is one key thing that you need when it comes to adverse weather. Plan it. Contact few insurance broker. If you don't have insurance at the moment, this is the right time for you to get insurance. Actually, mostly when it comes to Christmas, they're doing sales, but this is a perfect time for you to get insurance, because when you have insurance, you know that at least you've rest assured. You've got a guarantee to say, okay, if something happens, this is what will happen. We will be able to pay you for this loss or for this cost. So you need to get insurance in case anything happens. Transport is a major problem when it comes to adverse weather or when it comes to snowy weather in the UK. Basically, I know people are watching me from everywhere. This is a international television. However, I want us to focus more on snow. But when I talk about snow, it's not just in UK, but we're talking about Europe as a whole, USA, Canada. It will affect it. Adverse weather affect businesses. Transport. Maybe you're traveling abroad to go and do international business. Maybe you're going to see your business customer. Maybe you're going to see your clients going on a meeting abroad. Flights are cancelled. Flights are cancelled. Transport doesn't work on time. Trains are cancelled. There are delays on trains. You can't get taxi on time. If you call for a taxi, basically the taxi company will tell you, oh, things that they might say 5 minutes. They might tell you, oh, we haven't got enough cars at the moment. Can you wait for, let's say, 30 minutes? Can you wait an hour? So it will actually cause delay. And if anything that would delay will cause, will be detrimental to your business, basically. So you need to plan it, organize it. I know when it comes to things, this is something when you talk about controllable risk and uncontrollable risk. You plan where you can control, because it's not everything you're going to be able to plan. You plan it, but some things will go out of control, something will go out of hands. So you try and see which ones are the controllable risks. Okay, if I am doing business, and do I need to travel on, let's say, on this day? Because check what weather forecast. They'll basically announce it. Basically, with these days, technology have gone so developed that you'll be able to know when it's snowy, when it's not snowy. You'll be able to know, so you plan in advance. Do I need to travel abroad for this week? If I don't need to travel abroad for this week, what do I need to do? Where am I going? Where am I going? How do I get to my customers? How do I get to my suppliers? How do I get to people that I need to do business with? Who do I need to speak to? Who do I need to speak to? What do I do? That's one of the first things you need to say. What do I do? That's when you look at things like what if? What if this happened? How do I do it? Where will I be able to? Where will I be able to find help? Will I get help? Can I do it by myself? Is it something that I will be able to just go along? Okay, if you're a one-man business, maybe you can do things by yourself. But then you look at things, there are other people you work with. You have customers, you have suppliers, you would definitely have other stockholders. Who are they? How do you communicate with them? How do I get transport? Do I need a cab? Do I use my own personal transport? Do I normally use a public transport? Do I fly? Do I fly like, let's say, are you going to use a flight? If you're going to use a flight to go where you're going, how do you use it? Where do you use it from? Where do you board? Are they going to be running? Which traveling agency are you using? Are you using a traveling agency, or are you going to do it directly by yourself? Which company are you using? When it comes to situation like this, make sure you use a reliable flight. Don't just fly with any cheap flight. Don't just fly. I know sometimes it's good to say, okay, I want a cheap deal. I want to fly with it doesn't matter the airline. Try to get recognizable airlines. I'm not advertising for BA, but get things like BA. Get recognizable airlines, because basically, if something happened, let's say I'm going on a business meeting to Dubai, or I'm going on a business meeting to eat in Italy, in Milan, yeah? If something happened, if I'm traveling with BA, and let's say there's adverse weather, I get delayed or train delay, they know the situation. The airlines know the situation. But if you're traveling with the smaller airlines, maybe they haven't prepared for that. What they're going to do, if you miss your flight, you miss your flight. There's nothing you can do. There's nothing they're going to do. But if you're traveling with a reputable company, what they're going to do, their reputation matters. They don't want you to strand. They don't want you to stay there and start complaining or tweet about them that, oh, I've been stuck here because of adverse weather. What they're going to do is they're going to rearrange for you. They're going to plan for you to say, okay, you can travel on our next flight. Because if you're traveling with reputable airlines, they've got more flights traveling. They've got different flights that you can use. They've got different, basically, they will have more flights on the road. Even if they're going to cancel, they're not going to cancel everything, unless if it's something that they know that the flight is going to be at risk, then they're going to cancel everything. But if they're going to cancel your flight, guess what? They're going to put you in an hotel. They're going to take care of your stay over there. But let's say if you travel with any kind of airline, they definitely might not bother. Some will not bother. Some will not ask you. You will have to come and fill complaint forms and other things. And it's time consuming. So you need to know, what am I doing? How am I going to travel? What method am I going to use to travel in this adverse weather? If you are rich enough, maybe you've got a private jet. But even with the private jet, where are you going to land? All that you have to take into consideration. What's my means of transport during this weather? How do I get my product? What's my logistics? You have to get the right resources when it comes to business in adverse weather. When you're doing business in adverse weather, when you're doing business in snowing weather, you have to have the right resources. Because with the right resources, you need to have money in place, which you will need. Sometimes you need to buy extra heating. There are times when, even in adverse weather with central heating, you have to buy like portable heaters, depending on the size of the offices you've got. It's not just small business who buy portable heating. You need to know, do I have the right resources in place where we're working? Because you have to, when you're working with people as an employer, I'm talking about businesses, so I'm talking basically from the employer side of view, not from the employee side of view. I'm talking from an employer side of view, or from an entrepreneur side of view, not the person that they're paying. The person that they're paying, basically, if you turn up and there's no heating or there's no light, you walk off, you go back home. There's nothing the employer can do, because you haven't got the adequate resources to do the work. So you have to provide adequate resources for your staff to work. Do you have the right resources in place? Do you have the right team? In adverse weather, employees are going to call in sick, because you're going to have cold, you're going to get one or two people not turning up. Let me give you an example. Like today, my daughter's school, they were not, they don't have any school today, even though they informed us from yesterday that there's no school. So I could have said, okay, because there's no school, I can turn up to work. Yeah? If I was someone employee, I might say, okay, I'm not going to work because of that. But no, you have to see. Not all, but some people can choose to say, okay, my daughter is with me, or I cannot go to work. Do you have someone to leave your child with, to cater for your children? Because when you look at staff that are working, most of them have got children. Some people would call in sick because they don't have the right transport. In as much as they're willing to go to work, in as much as they're willing to work for you, but they don't have the right transport. Trains are not working. Trains are not running. There's so much delay. The place is cold. The floor is slippery. So what do? You plan. And when you plan, you have to plan that you get the right things to do. You need to plan for to get the right resources. How do I get how do I plan for my resources? How do I plan with the resources I've got? What can I do to make it better for them to work effectively in the business? How can I make it in a way that even though I'm expecting turnover, whether it's personnel turnover to reduce or profit turnover to reduce, but I need to make the most of what I have. How do I do it? Communication is the key when it comes to things like that. Communication. How do I communicate? How do I communicate? Do I need to communicate to people? Who do I need to talk to? Now, when you talk about communication, you have to have proactive communication when it comes to adverse weather, because poor communication will affect your business. If the communication is not good, how can your staff get you? Are they going to be communicating through email? Are the staff going to work from home? Or do they need to come to the premises? That's why when it comes to weather like this, the Met Office will tell you that if you can only travel by road only if it's necessary. If it's not necessary, don't travel. So what do I put in place when my staff cannot come to work? What do I put in place when I cannot get my suppliers to come and deliver my goods? Because when it comes to staff, maybe you can control it a little bit. But when it comes to things like suppliers, especially if they're bigger suppliers, you can't control them. They can turn up and say, oh, we're not doing delivery. Because don't forget, this is a network of people. It's a team of people. They're working with other people. They've got their own staff. Maybe their staff have called in to say there's no job. Maybe they've got, maybe their staff would have said, oh, I cannot come to work today, or my daughter is sick, or my child is sick, or my son is at home, or something else. Or there's no transport, there's no train. Yesterday, trains were not running. It's so funny. Yesterday, in Arrow, the lines were shut. By the time I come down to Southeast, it looked completely different. So let's say if I'm working in Southeast now, my employer is in Southeast, yeah? And I live in Harrow, where everything in Arrow actually is shut. And I call my employer to say, oh, basically, things are shut. I can't come, I can't travel because there's no transport. My employer might look at me like, are you sure? Not because they don't trust you, but because on the other side, it's actually the weather is, even though it's raining, but it's not as bad as where I am. So you need to check the location. How far is it, my traveling distance from where I am to where I want to go? And from where my supplier how far am I from where I work, who I work with, these kind of things. How do I get to them? You need to know, you need to find out. Because if you're coming from that other end, let's say from north or from the west of London, where it's all snowy, there's the ice is everywhere on the road. You come to Southeast where everywhere looks wet. It's wet, but there's no snow. What do you do? And you call in and say, oh, I cannot come to work because of this. Or you can say, okay, I'm going to make all effort to reach there. So how do you do it? How do you get about it? What do you do? How will you conduct that? Communicate with your staff. Which method do you use? Are you going to communicate by phone? You need to send text. You need to keep, you don't only need to communicate with your staff, you need to communicate with your suppliers, you need to communicate with your customers so they don't think that you're out of business because of the weather, because you still have to do business. You still need things to be running, you still need things to be going on. You still need things to go on the right way. Things need to run. You cannot just sit down and say, oh, because of the weather, I will not do anything. So what do you think you need to do? Plan it. Make a plan to say, okay, between this day and this day, there's an information to say, even if it doesn't work, but make sure you put something in writing to say, okay, between this day and this day, it might be snowing. Because sometimes you might think it will be snowing and it will not snow at all. So you might think, oh, I've just planned unnecessarily. There's nothing like unnecessary plan. At least you've made the plan. At least you have put things in place. Put things in place, put things in writing. Get a plan or a manual to say, okay, if it's snowing, what do we do? Do we need to come to work? Do we need to work at home? Because most of the system, that's why when we talk about business, we talk about system. Business system, you have to have a business system. Most of the business system are digital now. Make sure you don't do all the work in manual system. Because if you have to work on manual system, that means you have to reach the premises where your business is. That's the only place you can do business, where you're at the business premises. Because if you want to do business and you cannot reach your premises, then it's going to be difficult. Do I need a computer or a laptop at home where I can work with? Do I need to network the computer? How do I do it? Who do I need to talk to network the computer? Your IT system needs to be on point. You need to have updated system, because if you don't have updated system, let's say you have Windows on one PC and you've got something else on the other one, then it's going to be difficult. Don't have things like 360. So do you have things like 365? When you will use it and it's updated automatically, do you use things, let's say as an accountant, if you're an accountant, do you use things like QuickBooks with update? If someone is working from the office and I am working from home, whatever I put in, whatever data I've input will reflect to the person that is working from the office. I don't need to be in the same location. Whatever they do, if they put in an invoice, I will be able to see it. If they're paying money to the bank, I will be able to see it. You need system which actually work well, which are real time. They call it real time. The moment you update it, it shows to the next person. It doesn't wait for a week for it to be updated, because when it comes to that, if I made a payment, let's say there is, let's say if there is something, there is a payment to be made, and you've put in an invoice, or you've paid a cost, let's say you've paid a supplier, whilst there's another invoice to be input, and there won't be sufficient money, you might think, okay, I have to hold on, or I have to do this, because you need to, that part of the communication, you need to communicate. The team, how are you communicating? Are you communicating by email? Are you communicating through the internet? Do you have an intranet system? What way do you do? Do you communicate with Skype, Facebook, whatever way you do? Because these days communication is so vast and it makes it so effective, because you can talk to people anywhere, you can be anywhere and connect with someone in a different location. So what method am I going to use to communicate? Because make sure when you communicate with someone, it has to be professional. Even though you're saying, okay, it might be like a relaxed atmosphere, they're working from home. Is the place where the person working, is it conducive? If they're working from home, do they have children at home? If they have little children at home, it won't be conducive. Guess what? The children are going to be screaming. Let's say if the person is going to answer call, the children will be screaming. You can't stop them. Even though you might give them toy, you might give them things to play with or do, there are times when the children are children, kids are kids. If you have a toddler, it's not conducive to work from home. So what do? Am I going to pay? Obviously, the person needs to be paid. Am I going to pay that staff? That's why I talk about resources. You have to have the right resources. You have to have the money. Am I going to pay that person for her whole day without doing anything? What am I going to make the person do for that all day? Is that right? They didn't cause the weather to be like that. So what do I do? And where do I get to it? How do I get to it? What do I do? Which way am I going to communicate with my suppliers? I need to know, I need to be on the phone to see, okay, if they're going to bring logistic to me, where are they at the moment? Can they reach me? Because they're traveling with bigger trucks, it's not these small trucks. Sometimes they cannot go on smaller roads. Because when it comes to smaller roads, mostly it's easier for, I'm talking about if you live in the United Kingdom or when we're talking about snow, mostly it's easier when you, if you have trucks, it's easier for them to travel on bigger roads. If they're traveling on smaller roads, if you live in a tiny road, it's going to be difficult because are there salt on the road? Because mostly council concentrate on the bigger roads, the main roads, not the side roads or the B roads. They mostly concentrate on the main roads. So are you in a corner? What part of where is your location? That's why in business, location. Location is always important. Where are you located? How do they reach you? Will they be able to reach you? Will they be able to travel towards where you are? Are they able to deliver things to you? Are you able to deliver things to people as well? By this time, lots of people want to go to, some people want to go to restaurant. How do they get there? Do they have the right transport? Can buses stop by your place? Can taxis stop by your place because of the snow? Health and safety, because when it's snowing, that's when accidents happen. Can people come to my place without falling? Because if someone falls, it's funny when it comes to things. If the person falls inside your door, it's not the council fault, even though the snow was outside. It actually affects your business. So do you have the right insurance, as I said earlier on? Do you have the right insurance? Do you have content insurance? Do you have insurance for accident? What kind of insurance do you have? Because there are different insurance when it comes to business insurance. Do you have content insurance? Do you have building insurance? Do you have accident insurance? What kind of insurance? What will your insurance cover? Does your insurance cover adverse weather? Or is it just a normal insurance for just any day? Because some of them, if it's classified as adverse weather, does my insurance cover it? How will it affect me? Thank you very much, sir. How will it affect me? How do I make money? Because when you're doing business, you're into business to make money. How do I make money? How am I going to maximize my profit? While I've got limited staff, I've got limited resources. How do I work to maximize profit with the limited resources? So now you're going to make a way that business can still go on, we will still be able to work, and everyone should be, you still keep your customer happy, you still make sure you provide for them the right things. If you're running a restaurant here, you still need to keep the food warm, because the weather is cold, people don't want to eat cold food. So keep the food warm. Do you have tea? Because you might think, oh, I don't sell tea. But some people come in and ask, oh, do you have tea? Let's say if it's a small business, do you provide extra services to your customer? You don't need to be a restaurant for you to offer tea to your customers. This is adverse weather. The place is cold. Do I give my customers tea? Maybe someone coming, you can ask them. That's part of customer service. Do you need a cup of tea? Offer them tea. They might be cold, but they've made that effort to come and do business with you. They're in your premises. See how you can make them warm. Keep the place warm. Make sure you get the right temperature, the right room temperature when people come to work to you. When people come to do business with you, your customers, your suppliers, your staff, your employee is actually your responsibility. You need to look after them. How do I look after my employee? Even though some people say customers are the best, are the most important resources in the business, some people will say, even there's a quote from Mr. Branson, which actually states that your employee is the most important resources. So how do you look after your employee? Are you going to keep them warm? Do you make them dress up the right way? Because some business you have to dress up in skirts, no trousers. Do you have uniform? If you offer uniforms to for your employees, What kind of uniform are you giving them when it comes to cold weather, when it comes to snow? Are they going to still wear skirts and it's too cold? Do they have a choice? Have you made available, have you given them the choice to say, okay, we can wear this, or it can be like a dress down. If you're wearing uniform, maybe it can be a dress down where they can wear anything that will make them comfortable and will keep them warm. Because if they're healthy, they can produce more. They can be more productive and effective and efficient when they are in the right state. If they are cold, they will not be able to work well. It slows down the pace at which they work. Even if they are in a manufacturer industry, it slows down productivity. Even their way of thinking, it slows down their brain. How do you work? You notice when the weather is okay, people work better, people work well, people will think faster. But when the place is cold, people work in a dull atmosphere. So that's why you have to keep the temperature warm. You need to offer your customers, offer your employee tea. I know you might think, okay, I'm the boss, why should I offer them tea? Okay, you don't need to make the cup of tea for your employee, but you can provide the resources. You can provide tea, coffee, sugar. Make sure there's a kettle in the office where they can make themselves coffee or tea. Or some people might think, oh, but they get paid. Yes, they get paid, but this is adverse weather we're talking about. We're talking about a risk which you can control. We're talking about the controllable side of it. That one you can control it. Putting hot water in the office doesn't cost you much, actually. Because whether you put that kettle on or you don't put that kettle on, the computer is going to be running, the phone is going to be charging, lots of things are going to be on, electric is going to be on. If you have a telly in the office, the telly is going to be on. So it's just going to be the same power that you're burning. It will not cost much. Get them tea, biscuit. What can you offer them? What can you do to make their life better? What can you do to make your customer better? What can you do to get your supplier to come down on time? Okay, if I know it's adverse weather, should I put my order in on time? When should I put my order? When should I actually be able to contact people? Do I need to give them 2 or 3 days notice? Because you have to give a wider time, a wider gap when you're doing things like that. What time do I use? Oh, welcome everyone that is watching us online. Welcome to our program. Mr. Larry, welcome. Welcome, Honorable Alimami Kosinture, welcome. Thank you for joining us all the way from the United States. We're happy to get you online. Thank you very much for watching us. Thank you, Pastor Richie, Simsi from Sierra Leone. We've got different viewers. Thank you very much. We're glad. We've got someone from even Australia. Thank you, Sarah Williams. And we've got Mr. J. Thank you very much, everyone that is watching us. We have Adrianette from Holland. Thank you very much, everyone that is watching us. We're happy to get you here. And especially if you're in UK, we know the weather is cold. We know the weather, you've gone back to work and you're tired because of the slow movement around. So if you have any question to add on, to ask us, you want to add anything, you can call us, you can send us a message. If you want us to connect you on the live program, we can also connect you. So whatever you want to do, because when it comes to this, we have to plan. We have to see how can we try to reduce the impact, the negative impact, and make it in a way that we will be able to work with limited resources. Okay, if you've got 2 staff, are they going to come? If you've got fewer staff, how many people are you going to allow to say, okay, you can work from home, you can come in, or to say, okay, the ones with children, if you've got children and there's no school, you can sit down with your kids and look after them. Whilst you'll be doing this, whilst you'll be doing phone calls, you can still make phone calls, you can still do that. You can still check on suppliers. Am I getting the food on time? Am I going to get, if you're working in, do I get my product on time? How do I get the things? How do I move things? Don't forget, business is a chain. You supplying someone, you might be a supplier to someone, and so that means that person is your customer. That customer have other suppliers, they have other customers. So it's a chain, it's a connection, it's a chain, so it goes round. you might be a supplier, that person is a customer. Your customer have their own customer, so that's how it works. So it's going to be a chain. How do I do so that it doesn't affect someone else's business? If I'm going to work on limited resources, limited staff, how will I work with the limited resources that I cannot put a negative impact on someone else's business? How do I work with them? Because as we're talking about business, you have business to customer. How do we get about to do it? When do I put notice? When do I put notice? When do I put in my order? Do I need to put in my order in summer before winter? Do I need to put in an order 2 or 3 days in advance? If you're going to order from someone, do I need to put in order 2 or 3 days in advance for them to reach it, for me to get the product before the weather turns bad? Okay, if I know next week is going to snow, do I need to put in the order maybe tomorrow or Wednesday? Because if it takes 3 days, then put an extra time, make it 6 days. Or make it 4 days. You might be lucky and get it the same day. Because sometimes you use like this courier service which operates on the same day. But even that, the weather is bad. Don't forget they're cyclists. If they're going to run fast on the road, it's snowing, it's going to affect them too. So do I need to give extra time, which is actually the most important thing? Give extra time, allow that space for you to be able to work with people. Let it be extra time so that you'll be able to get them on time. You'll be able to provide the services on time. You will be able to do what you're supposed to do. If I have to go to work, let's say I'm going to work for someone, yeah? And if I am an employee and I have to go to work, do I need to leave? If I know it will take me an hour and a half, let's say if I'm living where I live to come to Southeast, it actually take me 2 hours if I'm going to use public transport. So if I know it's going to take me 2 hours, I'm going to plan for 3 hours journey, or maybe more. Maybe more. Because if you leave it as the normal time, you might turn up and then they say, it doesn't mean that if the train were running during the day, that means it cannot change in the evening. It doesn't mean if the services were good in the morning, that means in the evening they cannot change. They can change. It can become even better, but it can become worse. So how do I do it? What do I do? How am I going to get there? How am I going to get there? What plans have I got in place? And if I've got plans in place, will it work? Is it a workable plan? Is it something that will help me? Is it something that will be of use to me? Is it going to be effective? And when you're doing things like that, when you're doing business, if traveling is not necessary, don't do it. That's why you need to communicate with your customer, you need to communicate with your employee, you need to communicate with your suppliers. If I know, let's say, if I order things, and let's say if I was operating on a food industry, and I know if it takes longer for them to distribute the product, the product will go bad on the road, because sometimes you have companies that order in bulk here. And if they're going to if it's something that is food product that is perishable, find out, is it going to reach on time for it to be good? Is it going to be reach me on time for it to be sold by the sell-by date? All this you have to put things in place. You have to plan it and see how you're going to get it. What am I going to do? With the right resources, do I have the right resources? How am I going to use these resources? Maybe I've got the right resources. Now, how do I work? Do I have to work longer hours? Do I need to put more effort? Because yes, you've got limited resources, so you need to put more effort. You need to work more hours. This is when you talk about limiting resources, limited resources. How do I work with limited resources? So if I need to produce 10 cloth, yeah, and normally it takes 5 staff to work in 2 hours to produce 10 cloth. I'm just giving you an example. Maybe it takes 5 staff to produce 10 cloth in 2 hours. Then if I only have 2 staff, I'm going to plan it in a way that I can do it, either do it in 5 hours, maybe you will be able to do it within the same time, or you might need that extra time. How do I get it done? Do I need that extra time? Is it manpower that is my limiting resources when it comes to adverse weather? Is it transport? Is it working hours? Because we might have everything, but we don't have the right working hours. So let's say if I am supposed to go to work and I reach there, if I'm supposed to go to work like, let's say at 6, and then I reach there for 8 o'clock, will I be able to complete the task that I'm supposed to do on time? Will I be able to complete that task on time? How do I complete the task? How do I complete this task? When do I get it done? When do I get it done? So if you have any question, ask me. We're here to answer your question. Anything you want to talk about, adverse weather, what's going to happen, let us know. Ask us. You can call us. You can send in your question and we'll be able to answer to you. What do you need? Where do I get insurance? You need a business insurance, basically. You basically need a business insurance. You need a content insurance. You need personnel insurance. You need building insurance. You might think it's too expensive. It's not too expensive. Do you know what is too expensive? For you not to have insurance and something happen, let's say a fire break-in. Do you have theft? Is it a third-party insurance only do you have? Do you have insurance that cover your building? Do you have insurance that cover your content? Sometimes speak to your bank. Because when it comes to bank, some bank gives free insurance depending on who you're banking with. Some of them will give free content insurance. They will not give you free building insurance, trust me. You will never get a free building insurance from your bank. But when it comes to things like your content, some bank will give you free content insurance. But speak to your bank, see what they can offer you. Before you find a broker, find out first, check online, see what you can get. What is available in the industry? Do you have specialists that provide insurance for your industry? Do you have people that provide cheaper insurance for your industry? Check the cost. When I talk about cheaper, I'm not talking about something which you go extremely cheap and then it doesn't give you the right sources that you want. It doesn't cover what exactly is necessary. Don't go too low that you don't get what exactly you need. Because sometimes you look at the cost and say, oh, this is expensive. They say if you pay peanuts, you get monkeys. I know at times people look at it and say, oh, you don't need to get the most expensive one unless if the most expensive one is giving you more premium, right? If they're going to pay you more for certain things or certain damages, then go for the most expensive one. But when it comes to things like insurance, content insurance, building insurance, personnel insurance, check. You might think, oh, I'm doing a recruitment business. I don't need that. No, you still need it. You still need insurance. You need personnel insurance. You need content insurance. You need building insurance. If something happened to your employee, let's say your employee, the place is wet outside, and their shoes are already wet. You might have got a carpet or a rug that will dry, but it will not dry everything. The ice will, maybe they're wearing something which the ice is stick on there, and they come and they slip. They fall down. Who do you think is responsible? You, the employer. You, the employee. The employer. You as the entrepreneur. You as the business owner. You're responsible for that. Unless if you are renting, let's say like shared, sometimes you have building in a service offices. You need to check, do they cover insurance? What does a service office cover? Basically, they'll tell you, if you go in a service office, they'll tell you what and what is covered. They'll tell you what do you need to do, what do you need to use. When it comes to things like that, they'll tell you. They'll tell you that, okay, if it's accident, we will be responsible. But some of them will not cover it. So you need to know. If you're renting the premises yourself as the owner of the premises, what and what does it cover? Where do I need to get this insurance? You might think, oh, insurance is not necessary. It's very necessary at this point in time. If you are going to close your business for a whole week or for 2 days, how do you get money? Is my insurance going to pay me if my business is shut down? Is my insurance going to pay me because there's because when it comes to things like this, when it comes to snow, the place is icy, pipes are going to be burst, water is going to there might come a time when there's flooding around. You might think, oh, it's just ice. Yeah, but what's the after effect? What's the after effect? Is it going to be like a burst pipe, a leaking pipe around? Will that affect the business? Will it affect people coming into my business? It's going to affect the light, electricity. Sometimes there's power cut when it comes to things like that. If it's heavy snowing, there's going to be power cut. Will I be able to walk? Will I be able to walk? Where will I walk? Who will I walk with? So you need to know all these things. You need to know what should I put in place, what measure, that's exactly what you use, even though you call it plans, but what measure do I put in place for the plans to work well? What are the strategies do I need? How do I use it? What are the procedures do I use in my office or in my business to do the work? If I need 2 staff and I only have 1 staff that turn up, can I work with that 1 staff? Can she do the work for the job of 2 person? Can she be picking the phone and sending an email and sorting out letters and maybe paying customers and paying my suppliers, serving customers? Let's say if you're running a restaurant, you've got 1 staff. Can the person be able to take in orders from the phone, taking order online, if you do online business, taking order online, talk to the customer face to face, answer the phone call, do all these things at the same time? Do I need to help? Because there are things which you do and you think, okay, that's not my job. There's something that they call beyond your call of duty. Beyond your call of duty is, it's not your job, but you look at it that I can do it and I should help. Should I help my staff? Should I do this? Okay, they're busy, they're talking on the phone, there's customer putting order on the phone, someone needs a drink or someone needs water. Can I help to serve? There are some people who might think, oh, I'm a manager, I can do this, I can sweep. Because I'm a manager, people have to sweep. Can you do that? Why is the staff is actually doing something else? What can I do to make it better? What can I do to make the work go on better? What can I do to make her life easier? Because don't forget, the person is cold, they're tired. When it's cold, you get tired easily. How can I do to get this work done well? Hyper-precious, how can I do to get this work done well? Thank you for watching us. Oh, thank you all our viewers for watching us from USA, from UK, from Australia. We're happy to get you all from Sierra Leone. I'm glad to get you all on this program. If you're doing business and it's adverse weather, what are the plans? You might think, okay, she's talking about snow. But even if it's raining, some of these measures are the same that you will need to put in. What are the plans? How do I get it? My staff are not coming. How do I get things done? How do I get things moving? Because that's why in business you say it's ongoing concern. And if it's ongoing concern, that means business have to go on. It doesn't matter the weather, it doesn't matter the time. Okay, you might think to say, okay, I need to give them a day off. If it's necessary and you think you can do without them coming to work, you can give them a day off. You can tell them don't come in. Or don't come in today, but if they don't work, let's say they work Monday to Friday, you can say don't come in today, you can come in on Saturday. Or you can give them another day to say, okay, you might work longer hours the other days if you can afford to close the business on that day. If you can afford for them to work from home, then let it be in the most conducive atmosphere. When someone works in the most conducive atmosphere, they work better, they work more effective. The work is done faster and smoother. And that's what you want in business. You need a happy employee, a happy customer, a happy supplier. Because you have to keep everyone happy. You have to keep the business going. And the only way you can keep the business going is by keeping everyone happy and a happy self. Because they say love. Because even in the Bible, it says love your neighbor as you love yourself. The first person you have to love is yourself. You have to keep yourself happy. But you have to keep all the people around you happy. You need to make them happy. You need to do the right things. How are you going to get it done in this adverse weather, in this snowing weather? What's the impact? It's actually negative. It's not going to be positive. Where from an employee point of view, it might be positive because it might say, oh my God, that's going to be one more day at home. Just sitting down, not doing anything. Yeah. But as a business person, as an employer, as an entrepreneur, basically business, this program is about challenges in business. You're watching us live from Noble Television, right here in London, in the Art of London, right here in London, you're watching us. And I'm Bernadette Abu, I'm your presenter for today. So stay tuned on this program. Don't go anywhere. We're here to talk about what are the challenges. How do we try to minimize the risk? Because this is actually a risk. How do we minimize the risk? Is it a controllable one? Is it an uncontrollable one? If we can control it, it's better for you to control it. Put measures in place. How do I get these measures in place? Will the measure work? Is it a workable measure? Is it not just something you're going to tell people, okay, because you're not coming to work today, you can wake up at 6 o'clock and start doing phone call. If they wake up at 6 o'clock and start doing phone call, are the customers they're going to call, are they up? No, they're not up. So let it be a workable measure. Let it be something that will help. Let it be something, if you're going to be calling your customers, if they're going to be working from home, what time do they start? What time do they finish? Don't think, okay, you're at home anyway, you don't need to take a transport. You don't need to go anywhere. It's just your house, isn't it? You're comfortable. So you can wake up at 7, start work 7 and finish at 10 o'clock because that's when you go to bed. So you don't need to do anything. Your traveling time, everything, we put it in place. Just walk, no break. You need to think, what are their working hours even though they're working from home? Can you, if they're working from home, can you monitor them? How do you know the work that have been done? Are they doing what they're supposed to be doing, or are they just on Facebook? Are they doing the right work? What are they doing? Are they sending messages, or are they just sleeping under the duvet? Because I think this is the perfect time to be under the duvet, trust me. But you need to check. Is the work that is being done, make sure you give them a moderate job. Don't give, if someone is working from home, don't think because they're in the comfort of their own home, they should do everything that needs to be done in 1 month. No, give them the accurate job that they need to do. Give them something that you know they can be able to do. It's within their own reach, within their own energy, and within their job description. Don't start giving them more things because you think, okay, they don't need to take transport, they're not coming, they're just sitting at home so they can just do this. No, don't overwork them because they're going to come back after a day or two. So don't overwork them, give them accurate job, give them what they're supposed to be doing, let them be able to work and be able to know that they're doing the right things, check on them, call them to see that they're okay. Because sometimes you might think, sometimes we'll forget to look after people. We just think everyone is okay. Call them, give them a call and say, oh, are you all right? Is everything okay? You don't seem all right. Oh, are you warm enough? Is there anything you need? Do you need any help from me? Check on them. They're in the comfort of their own home, but you don't know what might happen with them when they're there by themselves. Check on them, see they're okay. Call your customer, call your suppliers. The ones that, if your business is a business that you normally call your customer, call them. Check on them to see if they're okay. If it's a premises they're coming, you haven't seen it, just check on them. Say, hi, I'm just checking on you this weather to see how you're doing. That phone call can make a difference. Give them a call. Check on people. Find out where they are, how they're doing, how they're getting on in this weather. Sometimes people just need that just one word. Just that word, just that phone call to make a difference in their life, to see how they're doing. So they know you care about them. They know you just don't care about their money, you care about them. Because business is about money, it's about profit making. I know there are other things in business like emotional satisfaction, there are other things that you get when you do business. But the most important thing in business is a profit making. Yeah? There are other gains that you get when you do business, but if you're making money, let them don't feel like you're just there to take money from them. Let them feel that you care. Call them. If you have the time, call them. Send email. Just send them an email so that they know you just care about them. Give information. What do they need? Or you might tell them, oh, today we have, if you're running a restaurant, you can tell them, oh, today we have this dish or that dish or that dish. That would be nice for you in this warm weather. I was chatting one other day with ageable elderly lady, and she was telling me, in this weather, soup is really nice. When you eat soup when it's hot, it's really nice for this warm weather. Yeah? We were just having a chat, and she was telling me, she's from Jamaica. She said, oh, do you know soup is really good? So if you've got a restaurant, if you don't normally prepare soup, start preparing soup. People will be coming to buy. You might make extra income by just providing that soup. If you just sell rice or other things or bread or thing, put soup as an extra dish. You will see people turning up. So see, what extra can I provide? That's the other thing. What extra can I provide for them? Huh? As I was saying earlier on, you can provide tea, coffee for your customers, for your suppliers. Let them feel at home. If someone have driven a truck, let's say 3 hours in this cold weather, even though there's heater in the car, sometimes some of these official vehicles the heaters might not be working well. That person have driven all the way to come and see you or to come and deliver something for you. Offer them a cup of tea. I know you might think, oh, it's taking my time. No, that's seconds that you prepare in a cup of tea. It doesn't even take a minute to make a cup of tea. Give them a cup of tea. Just be nice to them. Just give them that extra so that they know you care about them. They know you care about doing business with them. I normally say business is a collection of relationship. Build that relationship. Let it be a good one. Let it be a good relationship that it work well and people are able to say, oh, they can remember you all the time. Be in a relationship with people that they can sit down and think about you and say, oh, I was thinking about you. Yeah? And aware with people that you have to think about them. Leave that good memory in someone's mind. Whether it's business, no matter what you're doing, let it be a good memory. Something that they can just sit down and smile and say, I remember that person. Or sit down and say, oh, today this is my customer, I haven't been here. They can realize that you're not there. They can realize that my staff is not here. If your employees try to make the business yours. When I mean make the business yours, make it as if it's your business, what you would do to your business. Because what you do unto others, I always use this word and say, do unto others as you like them to do unto you. Always treat people the way you want them to treat you. So if you're an employer, treat your employee the way you want them to treat you. If you're an employee, treat your employer the way you want your employer to treat you. Turn up to work. If you can turn up to work, turn up to work. Be there on time. Don't say, okay, because the weather is not good, I can just use that as an excuse not to turn up on time. Turn up on time if you can make it. If you can travel on time to your place of work, travel on time. Go there. Don't use it to say, oh, they don't know what's going on. They don't know if it's snowing in Arrow or wherever I live. They don't know that. So I'll just call them and say, oh, it's snowing over here, and not all employers have that facility or have the time to go and check on Google to see the location, because you can actually check physically on Google to see where the person is at the moment. But not all employers are IT savvy. They might not be able to check. But be sincere. When it comes to things like business or anything, I talk about be sincere, get that integrity, do the right thing. There are times when you might want to do the right thing, but you can't. Make sure you do what you can to the best of your ability. Use the best of your ability. Whatever you can, do it well, do it right. Do it the way that you know, okay, I've done my whole, I've done my best. And if you do it all, God, trust me, even with the bad weather, even with the snowy weather, even with the adverse weather, God will make sure things go right for you. You might think, oh, it will not work. No, it will work. God will make sure it goes on well, because you're actually giving it your whole. You're actually giving it your best. You're working to the best of your ability. And you be prepared. It looks like it's a Boy Scout motto, isn't it, or Girl Scout? But be prepared. Make sure you prepare on time. Make sure you get ready on time. Get the necessary resources. get the right insurance, get the right transport, find out, can I travel, if I'm going to, maybe I normally travel by car, and if I'm driving a local, it might be slippery and things like that. Okay, can I use a public transport today? If I don't want to drive my car because I'm worried that I will have breakdown and it will take maybe longer for me to reach work, to minimize the risk, can I take a public transport? Can I take a train? Which way can I travel? Because I'll tell you, not everyone can afford a private jet, as I keep saying. So, but if you can afford a private jet to go to work, why not? Why not flew in? Land on top of the buses, on top of the roof or somewhere, or in the car park. You don't know what might happen. Make it exciting. Yeah, make it exciting. Make sure you do what you can to make the work goes on, to make the business work well, to make it effective and efficient. Do your best. Give your all. Give your 110%. And when you've done that, as I'm saying, God will be with you, and God will help you, and God will direct you, and God will show you what to do when you don't know what to do. It will give you wisdom. So when it comes to things like that, this is negative impact. Try to minimize it. Try to see, how can I increase my profit? How can I increase my working hours? Do I need to work more? Do I need to work longer hours? Do I need to make sure my staff come in? If you can get, if they're not traveling from a longer distance, let's say some can come by a train. Do we have a transport that can pick them up? Because sometimes when it comes to things that is, you need teamwork. Do you have other staff that can pick? Let's say someone is taking a public transport, yeah? And you've got someone who've got a car. Can they pick them up from the train station to make it easier? Because when they're going to wait for a bus, it might take longer. The traveling system might be disrupted. Can someone pick them up quicker from the train station? Can someone pick the product quicker? Instead of going to, let's say, instead of ordering online, let's say you're doing business, and instead of you putting order online, can you send a staff to just go and pick it from the shop or from the store? Is it something they can just go and drive and pick? Instead of waiting for 2 days delivery or next day delivery, is it something we can just drive to the depot, pick it up, and come? Which way do you make it in a way that it will be cost effective, it will be efficient for everyone? Because when you talk about things, you're looking at the whole team. In a business, it's a whole team. You're looking at the whole team. How can I make the team work better? What will I do to help others in the business, in my suppliers, my customers? How will I make their life happier? I'm talking in a business term point of view. I'm not talking about extra outside of your business. I'm talking within your line of business, within your trade of business. How can I make it better? Can I deliver? Which most small businesses, and even though they've got Uber that deliver things, even McDonald's do delivery now. I just find out that I found out that just some days ago. I was in there and I saw them having Uber picking up food from McDonald's. So if bigger, whatever bigger companies do, and it works for them, practice it as a small company. Do it in your small scale. Maybe you might not do it in the bigger scale. Maybe you cannot afford to pay Uber, but you can afford to pay a delivery driver. Can I deliver it? Can I take it to the most? When I talk about small business, African businesses, because I know I'm not going to tell you that all of my viewers are Africans, but majority, I'll say 50% of them are African business people. Yeah, most African business don't deliver. Can I deliver the product? If you're doing, like, let's say you're a fashion designer, someone wants a dress, can I take this dress to them? They really need it. And can I drive? If you're driving, can I drive and just drop it for the customer? While I'm making money, I'm not going to lose. Can I drop it for them? Do I need to pick something do I need to pick like thread or cloth or wrapper, whatever you call it? Do I need to pick it up instead of waiting for it to be delivered? How can I make it effective? How can I make it better for everyone else so that the business function well? So that's exactly what you're going to look at when it comes to adverse weather. What measure do I put in place? As I said to you earlier on, do unto others as you like them to do unto you. Just think, if you're a supplier, you're going to be someone else's customer in something else. I might be supplying book accounting, but I might be a supplier when it comes to bread. I might be a customer when it comes to bread. I might be a customer because I'm a consumer. I might be a customer when it comes to things like retail products. Yeah? So when you look at it, if I go to a shop to buy bread or to buy milk, how do I want them to treat me? Be polite, because I know sometimes people look at things and say, oh, yeah, I'm tired. You know, when it's cold, that's when everything comes. Yeah? But put a smile on your face. Do the right things. Make sure you do it right. Follow the same procedure as if you're working in a normal condition. Let things operate in a way that it will be done well. Do it right, get things right, make sure you do the right thing, make sure you actually, someone is asking, what about the weather in Africa? I know in South Africa it snows. I don't know of any other country in Africa, because I've been to South Africa, so I know it snows in South Africa. I know in some part of my country, people say it snows there because you can see like it gets foggy, really, really foggy, and ice, but it's not as heavy as you can see in UK. That is like in the north, I think, but I am not too sure. But when it comes to, thank you, sir, for asking this question. If you're in Africa, some country it will snow there. But if snow doesn't operate in Africa, you still have adverse weather, you still have rain. Rain comes, and even rain is sometimes worse, because when it comes to rain, you get flooding. What measure do I put in place for flood? You still need an insurance. You still need to plan for traveling. You still need to get the right resources. You still need to communicate with your customers, your supplier. I know communication sometimes is bad in some places in Africa, but I know Africa have gone so much developed. It's the next place to be. Trust me, not because I'm a dual citizen, but that's the next place to be, yeah? So things are moving in Africa these days. Things are moving, and technology is advancing. They're doing great. So when it comes to Africa, make sure you get the right resources. You know it's raining in Africa, and you've got some offices which will be leaking, like in the pans, yeah, water will be dripping. Make sure you've got, when it comes to raining time, you've got the right, they've checked the roof, they've checked the electricity. Because in Africa, where it goes worse or it gets serious, when it's windy, the roof will be blowing, flying. Most times here, we don't use pan in UK. When it's windy, we don't use pan. They've got different roofs that they use here. The roofs are different from the ones they use. In Africa, most of these houses, some of them use zinc. So when it's windy, the zinc will be flying. Make sure before raining season, before the adverse weather, you've checked the roof. You've checked that everything is in place. You've checked your door, your windows. Make sure everything is in place. Your electricity, make sure everything is in place and how you will deal with it. Make sure you've got the right resources. Communicate with your staff. Communicate with your customer. Communicate with your suppliers. Effective communication is very, very important. It is very important in business. How do you communicate? Is it by email with your staff? Do you do more meetings? If they're working from home, do you do like a Skype call where you all can talk? Can you do webinar? Can you do a webinar? Can you do Skype call? What kind of communication do you use? Do you contact them through email, regular email? Are you sending emails? Do you do phone calls or texting? Sometimes texting is a little bit distracting, because when you're using your phone, other things might come up. Try for them to use their laptop. It's always good for them to work from a laptop than from the phone, because when, you can check your messages, other things will come up from the phone. Try and see that they're using the right, part of using the right resources. Do they have the right resources to communicate? Do they have the same phone? Do you do things like FaceTime, which is actually free? That means all your employees should have like, I think iPhone. I don't know if, I think some of the Android phone can use FaceTime. I'm not too sure. Because for me, I always tell people that I'll only give you information on something I've tried and used. If I haven't tried it, I will not tell you. It can be something that I've learned it either in school, basically on a theory part of view, or from a practical point of view. I'll never just give you information that I don't know. So I'm not too sure when it comes to FaceTime on Android phone, but when it comes to things like that, do they have the right gadget? Do they have the right technology? Do they have the right software to work from home? Because not everyone, you might think, oh, they live abroad, so everyone should have Microsoft. Do they have a working Microsoft? What do you have? Do you have 365? What do you have? Is it an up-to-date system? Is it the same that you have, the version you have at work? Is it the same version they have at home? Do they have a professional version? What version do they use? How do they get it better? Make sure you help others. When it comes to things like that, it's adverse weather. Make sure we do the right things, help others, make it a way that everyone is comfortable. Everyone is happy. You cannot keep everyone happy. Let me tell you this, you cannot keep everyone happy. But as I said earlier, work to the best of your ability. Give your 110, give your best. I know if your best is not good enough, try to give excellent service. I always say that, operational excellence. Try for it to be excellent. You know you've done everything you can. So if it goes wrong, that's why things like risk you've got, you can prevent the risk. How can I prevent it? If something goes wrong, what should I do? What measure do I have in place to prevent things that goes wrong? What measure do I have in place for the things that I cannot control? Because the things that you can control are easier to sort out. Because if it's controllable, then that means you've foreseen it. Those are foreseen risks. But what about the unforeseen things? What about the things that you cannot see? You cannot plan in advance. You cannot predict that it's happening. That's exactly the thing. What are the things? There are some things that you cannot predict it. And the things that you cannot predict, that means you cannot control it. And things that you cannot control that is out of your hands, these are things like external factors. Internal factors you can control. You can put measures in place, you can put policies, you can put insurance. But external risk, maybe something happened, there's a regulation, or there is something that happened like with the transport system. What do they say? If, like, let's say the law come in place and to say, okay, because of the snow, there's no flight traveling from Heathrow Airport and you have to travel. That's uncontrollable risk. What do you do? Who do you speak to? Do you know have you got the right contact number for the people you work with or you do business with? Are there details up to date? Do you have their up-to-date details? Do you have up-to-date details for your company or for your business? Is your contact number correct? If someone is searching for you, do they have the up-to-date details for you? Can someone reach you easily? So these are the things you need to think about when you're doing business in adverse weather. Can I be easily reachable? So you need to know that you need to get the right resources. So now I'm rounding up and I'm just going to tell you that these are the things you need. Try to do what you can. Do the best so that you can minimize this 0.5% shrunk that is maybe we can cut it down this year to maybe 2%, 0.2%, not 0.2%, 0.2%. So we can reduce it. See, because when it comes to adverse weather, some shops get closed down, transport system get closed down, offices are closed down, everything just go in a standstill sometime. What will we do? How will we make it better? How can you make other people's life better? Because when you do business, it's like solving a problem. Are you going to solve the problem in an amicable way? Or are you going to make it worse? Because there are times when you've got the people who, when they see problem, that is when they pick it up. for them to make it worse? Are you going to make it better? Always when you go into things, whether it's a problem that you're going to solve, whether you've seen something that is not going right, make sure you give the best. Make sure you do it in a way that you provide the right advice. You make it in a way that you put it right, not to put it in the worst condition. I always say this, and I learned it from a professor who said, if you meet someone, always leave them better than you met them. If you're working with people in a business, always leave them better than the way you meet them. Don't leave them worse than the way you meet them. Make them happier. Make them better. Let them say, oh, I was glad I worked with this person. I was glad I bought a product. If you're selling clothes, now, let's say if you're selling African clothes, yeah? This is cold weather. What stock have you got for cold weather? What things have you got? What product have you got? Do you have scarf that are Africans? Do you have, if you're actually selling just normal, you're an African, because I was actually talking to someone who we were talking about, when do you talk about, is it an African business or is it an African-owned business? There are two different between that. Is your business an African business or is your business an African-owned business? But maybe the product are African things. That is an African business, not an African owned. It will be owned by an African, but then you do African product, or you sell African food, then it's an African business. And it's funny, even someone who is white or Asian can actually run African business. I've seen English people running a Chinese restaurant. So it doesn't mean that you have to come from that race for you to do business. But then when you talk about business, you need to know, is it the ownership you're talking about? Or is it the business itself, as in the product and services? So sometimes when you hear me talk about African business, you need to know which point is she talking about. Is it the African-owned business? That means the owner is an African. Or is it the product, they are African products? Things made in Africa, you've got different things, oh, it's gone so advanced from clothing to shoes to handbag, you name it, everything to bedspread, everything. So you need to know what exactly is she talking about when it talks about African business. Is it a business or the business owner? But mostly when I talk, I try to separate it for you to know that I'm talking either about that's why I'll use words like entrepreneur, business person. I'll not just say African business if you're an African business, because you can be an African and sell product to everyone. You can be an African business owner and sell just normal fashion clothes. You don't need to sell African products. So you need to know the different points when it comes to things like that. But whatever you're doing, make sure you give your customer the best. Make sure you provide the right resources, the right services for the business. Make sure you've got the right resources. With everything, you need the right things. Communication, the right communication system. Do you have the right communication system? Are you going to use email, phone call, meetings? How are you going to meet? Is it a virtual meeting or is it in the presence of everyone? What are you going to do? How are you going to do it? So on that note, we're going to end the program today on impact of snow on businesses. When it comes to this, it's not good. It's actually all about problems, problem. Even when it comes, when it comes to snow, you think people that are selling coffee, they will be making much money. People that are selling soup, as I spoke about it earlier, they will be making more money. But they have suppliers. There's going to be like delay for their product. So whatever it is, there is a negative effect in the business. And try to minimize that negative effect. Plan it, arrange what you're going to do, give extra time, allow that extra time, because sometimes your supplier will be coming, or let's say your supplier, if the supplier is coming in and they come in late, don't get angry with them. Try to be understandable. Try to be an agreeable person. Try to meet in a point. I know it will affect your business, but don't start shouting at them, oh, look at the time you're coming, you should have been here all along. No, calm down, talk to them, and then let them know that this is exactly what you're doing. Be polite with them. Be nice to them. I know it's not easy for all of us to work in this weather. It gets cold, you tremble and other things. But try to focus. Try not to be distracted by the weather. Just do what you are good at doing. Just do it and do it the way, just be you. It doesn't matter the weather, just be you. Be yourself. Do it right. Do it the way you know how to do it. Don't start copying the way other people are doing. Do it right. Do it the way you know you can do it better, and it's your 110. Don't give 100%. 100% is not good enough. It might look like a pass, but give 110. That means you've gone the extra. You've given them extra. Give them that extra. Make them remember you. Make them think about you. Make them know that, oh, when it was raining, this person goes there. Do you see bigger companies? Sometimes it's raining. They give out umbrellas. Give that extra, even if you're a small business owner. Give that extra. Let it be a remarkable business so that people can think about you and say, oh, I was thinking about you today. So on that note, I'm going to end this program. Thank you all for watching us on Noble Television. And I am your presenter, Bernadette Abu. Thank you very much. And we'll see you back next week, the same time on Monday. Thank you and have a nice day.
Wow! Noble People is here again with another fantastic memorable event. Noble People International Magazine presents Noble Recognition Award, Celebration of Stars. It's gonna be great. Coming up on 26 December 2017
at Empire Lounge,
777 Old Kent Road, opposite Toys and Royce, London South East, 151NZ by 2 p.m. to 8 p.m. Dress code, all white outfit, red carpet paparazzi. We comes up between 2 p.m. and 3 p.m. RSVP Kike Diamond, Noble Police 0796170284. Ayaba Esther, Queen of Praise +44 7930232324. TKM 074731000610. MC Shola Akande, Baba Ibadan, Oluwabumi Adeboye Johnson, Ebony. Noble People Recognition Award 2017. Don't miss it. Oh la la la! Yori Love Talk Show is the program which lovers enjoy. Bringing reunion, giving you best time to enjoy with your loved ones. Call your lovers to join this program as we roll it live on Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Sunday with your man, Mr. Noble.
So why should you have to go and narrate all whatever is happening in your house, exposing your family, exposing your matrimonial home, your
always bragger and super with enough paparazzi on Monday 9 p.m. to 12 a.m. Wednesday 9 p.m. to 12 a.m. Thursday 11:30 p.m. to 1:30 a.m. Sunday 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Do you want to enjoy yourself or share your experience with us? Join us live on our online television on www.noblepeoplemedia.org, on Facebook Noble People International Magazine, on TuneIn Radio application with Noble People Radio, or subscribe to our YouTube channel with Noble People Television. For adverts, call